going, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by Episode City Rocks, Rock Metal Thrive. Hey guys, we are coming to the end of the year, and the end of the year is going to be busy for you guys. It is the shortest day of the year. It is December 21st, and this podcast is nowhere near short on just the awesomeness that is. Awesome is the best way to describe it, with our friends from Florida. That's why I got the Marlins and actually in front, because you can see the F, for Florida. Before we get started, though, I want to thank our sponsors. First, Phoenix Fitness. Yeah, it's getting colder outside. Yeah, New Year's resolutions are coming up, and you're going to want to make sure you stay in those mosh pits for as long as possible, like me. So you're going to want to hit the gym, lift them weights, hit the cardio, do them run-ins, do them bike-ins, ellipticals, row machines, what am I missing? Stairmasters, yeah. You're going to want to do all that like I do, but you're going to want to make sure you recover right. You want to make sure that you prepare right, that you get nourishment enough so that you're achieving your fitness goals. That's where Phoenix Fitness comes in. They have different pre-workouts, both stim and stim free. It's stim free stuff because I'm already energetic as it is. They have different B-cell recovery compounds. They have different proteins, AM, PM, and post-workout creatines. Testosterone boosters, natural testosterone boosters, multivitamins, literally anything you need to fit your fitness goals, I say, they have that for you. Our listeners get 15% off using the code MSOTD and check out fnxfit.com, link description below. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness. Second sponsor is Custom Debuts. So you guys see I have all this crazy music stuff on the walls. I mean, you always see the skate decks over here, the 30 Seconds of Mars. You don't see all the posters I have up here. But what Custom Debuts does is they create custom music posters for you. So what you do is you can type in the name of a band and an album, or the name of a band and a song, and what they'll do is they'll create a custom poster for you around them or around that song with the lyrics of that song that you can really, hang up anywhere, put anywhere, give to a loved one, whatever it might be. Let's get that focus back there on the camera. There we go. And honestly, you can edit as much as possible. You send them the information, and they will send you a proof of a concept that they like after 48 hours. And you have as limited changes as you want. And once you're ready and set to go and you like what they've done, give them the thumbs up, and they will send it on your way. You can have it all printed on normal, post paper, like a normal poster would be, or you can have it printed on a canvas or even aluminum. How cool is that? So our listeners get 10% off using code CPP10 at checkout at customdebuts.com. So link description below for them. Thank you, Custom Debuts. Now on our feature presentation. Guys, when it comes to a band that's really ridden the momentum of 2021, it is The Dev out of Orlando, Florida. We talked to them at the beginning of 2021, and since then, they were one of the first bands to go back on tour, especially in the southeastern part of the United States post-COVID. They rode that momentum and have an incredible story about how they got to play Welcome to Rockville. And they're going to talk about how they're riding the momentum into 2022, new music to come out, and how burlesque and mud wrestling might enter their live shows. Yes, I am being 100% honest on that. That does happen. So, are you guys ready? This is one you're going to want to listen to the whole entire thing through, because there's a part in there where I just kind of just have to stop talking because it's just too incredible to listen to them just tell this story of Welcome to Rockville. So enough with me. Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. If you're with us at the beginning of 2021, you saw this band pop up on the podcast. They had a lot of great stuff in the works for 2021, and now they're back on the podcast because, well, let's just say this. 2021 treated this band incredibly well. At the end of the middle of November, I should say, they got a chance to play Welcome to Rockville, and I mean, with that, the upward trajectory of this band is just going to keep going up and up. I'm glad to have them back, so please welcome back The Dev. So everyone, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, man. Yeah. It's good to be back.
It's good to have you guys back. How's everything been going in your lives as of late? Because I haven't talked to you, almost a year at this point. So how's everything been going?
Pretty decent. We've been definitely busy for sure. But it's the good kind of busy that we can't get enough of.
Yeah, 2021 was definitely a crazy ride. And thinking when we had Thanksgiving last week, I was just sitting there and I was like, oh my God, this year is almost over. And it just flew by. It went by in such a flash. But when you're in the box, sometimes you don't realize all the craziness that's going around. So it was a good time to sit and reflect and kind of look outside and be like, holy shit, we just did Rockville. We just did this, and
best band in Orlando.
Yeah. So it's been a cool, awesome year. We went on tour, in the spring and so yeah, we're kind of gearing up. We have one more show left and for this year, and then, gearing up for everything next year. So far so good. Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool to actually take a step back and take a look at everything you did in 2021. And what Nicholas said, just kind of like you guys have been busy like crazy, but it's that good kind of busy, especially compared to when we talked the previous time, because we were just getting out of 2020 with everything that happened there, with lack of live shows, lack of pretty much any kind of movement whatsoever due to the pandemic. Seeing the fact that with the Dev, you all have just basically taken the bull by the horns and been able to go out, tour, especially around the southeastern part of the United States, played Rockville, win Best Band in Orlando, clearly, even though probably every other band that I know from Orlando is like, Kevin, why the hell are you saying that? It's like, well, but it's kind of true. I mean, they definitely won that. So it's great to take time to just step back, reflect on all the great things that have happened. And yeah, this year went by really, really quick, but I think a lot of it is because we had just so much pent up energy from what we missed out in 2020. It's like, okay, 2021 hits. We're not missing out on anything. We're doubling down to make sure we make up for the time that we missed.
For sure. We actually noticed that when we went on tour earlier this year, because we were kind of like a little skeptical if people were going to react to us positively or negatively. And let me tell you, like, everyone was just so sick and tired of staying home. I don't know if it's because it was a down south tour. Maybe that's why they were more like open-minded to the whole concept. But I mean, we had shows that were like in 30, 40 degree weather. And I feel like everyone was partying as if it was like, summertime.
Great. That was in Tennessee. That was awesome.
Yeah. Knoxville was insane.
Yeah. Tennessee was very interesting. We have a lot of inside jokes because of that show.
Yeah, when it was cold, I remember they were like, it's like 48 degrees. It's like a nice night tonight. I think we're going to have the show outside tonight.
Yeah.
And we're from Florida. Like, what are you doing?
And like only the stage was big enough for us to fit on it.
Yeah.
She actually had to sing in front of the stage.
Yeah.
But it was actually worked out really cool because it was like a table patio setting and everybody was there. And then as soon as she started singing, like everybody started coming up and they were, that some of the people were sitting down, people were standing up. Everybody was chiefing on the herb. It was really cool. And it was a good time, man. We had fun there.
Actually, that show, I think, was the show that kind of started me going onto the crowd more and like doing more like little like burlesque moves, because we do a cover of the Pussycat Dolls, Don't Ya? And it's one of those things where I can go to like Barrett or John or Ryan and kind of sing on them and be a little sexy. But because the stage was so small, I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do like on this like gravel floor? So that was one of the first times that I actually was able to test my wireless mic and actually see like the distance that it can go, and actually go upon like different like chicks and dudes on the like audience and like sing on them. But then when I sing my like breakup song, which is a song that we haven't released yet, people were literally doing like a kumbaya circle around me and just like smoking blunts. And it was a very hard but like funny moment because I had to sing and then like pass the blunt and try not to cough, and I don't smoke, but I had to look cool. So I'm like, well, fuck, this has to happen.
It just
She didn't inhale.
Yeah,
I did.
It just became
Unfortunately.
It just became legal there in Tennessee, like for recreational use. So when we went there in the spring, it was just like everybody was super stoked on that fact, and it was kind of like a boom town. Like it was kind of everywhere. Like the bar that we played at, like they were literally just selling it at the bar. It was
edibles and
it was just like crazy. But
I learned that one the hard way because I had 4 dosages of edibles, thinking it was just regular brownies.
no, you ate ice cream. That
Ice
you
cream
thought
and
was just
cookies.
regular
No, it was ice cream and brownies.
Yeah.
And then the guy came with
And
the
he's like,
poker.
wow.
Yeah. And then the guy came with the poker chip box and was like, here, have one. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, have some more. And then me and my merch girl, Kelly, were like, no, we're so stoned right now. We can't do this. Next thing you know, it's like, we're closing. We're packing up to go to the next like city. And Kelly's like too high to pick up any of the merch. And this guy like literally just passes her like a little pipe or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't. And he's like, no, for you, for on the road. So she like smokes it and then she just grabs all the merch. And I'm like, Kelly, how are you picking this up? And then she looks at me with the most dead set eye look. And she's like, sometimes Popeye just needs a can of spinach. And then just trailblazes. But she's like 5'8" and like 120 pounds, like skinny blonde girl. So it was honestly, I want to say Tennessee was a really good moment. And it's actually one of the inspirations for our songs coming up, like Tennessee and another place.
Yeah.
South Carolina tribbles.
Yeah,
tribbles.
because when we went on the road, and the beautiful thing about it was like what she was saying, there was a little bit of trepidation going, okay, we're going to states that we don't know what it's like. We don't know how people are going to take the fact that there's live music again, and what's going to happen with these shows. And I will say,
every promoter was outstanding. You know, all the crowds were great. The people showed up in droves, whether the venue was like a small little mom and pop bar or whether it was like a music hall. You know, and it was very inspirational to kind of like go, because we did like 5 or 6 states, you know, and so we got to kind of see what was going on. And when we came back, there was just like Barrett had this like inspiration, just write this song that, you know, kind of was about what we were, you know, what we had just experienced, like people coming out of COVID and wanting to live their life again and getting back to somewhat a sense of, you know, normalcy, as much as you can get, you know, in the times that we're living in. And so that inspired like our brand new single. So when we came back from the road, the first thing we did was like, all right, let's go in the studio, you know? So it was like that, you know, kind of catapulted that. And then, you know, we were starting to do more shows in the summer, and then the whole Rockville thing came into our lap and stuff. So it's been like a cavalcade of just activity of like, oh, you know, we think we're going to just kind of take a break and write some music, and then all of a sudden something else happens. We're like, oh shit, here we go. We got to like get ready and do, you know, a bunch of things. So, but it's been great, you know.
It's kind of like that initial tour that you guys did back in like April, May. It was like that shot in the arm of adrenaline when it came to going out playing those live shows. The crazy story from Tennessee, the crazy story from South Carolina, where you just were riding this wave of positivity and riding this wave of just sheer focus in terms of, we just, you know, got back out on the road. People are coming out in droves because they're sick and tired of COVID. And pretty much all throughout the rest of the year when it's come to live shows, it's pretty much been that same way. And I'm not talking just by where you guys are, talking about what I've seen myself when I was, you know, going to shows all over here up around the upper Midwest, when I was at Blue Ridge Rock Fest, like doing all that stuff. So I've seen that happen, and I can definitely tell that when it comes to just not only from your perspective from as a musician, but our perspective as fans, where we're just so happy that it's back, where it's just, there's a renewed energy that's there, and no one wants to stop. Everyone wants to just take the most of it and really just like kind of squeeze the most amount of life out of it as possible, because hell, we missed it for almost a whole entire year and a half at some places. So that positivity, that energy is just flowing, and with you guys riding that wave, and all of a sudden it's, you know, get back, get inspiration to write a new single, then more live shows are popping up. Welcome to Rockville comes up, and you guys are able to play that. Just all this stuff. You're just kind of riding that wave and letting everything come to you, which in a way makes sense. It's just why, you know, if you're getting the opportunity, if it's an amazing opportunity, you get that amazing inspiration, don't hold back on it. Go and attack it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think everyone just in general, like musicians and artists and fans, are just more appreciative of like having the opportunities. Because I've heard amongst my friends, like they're trying to make more excuses to go out to shows. And I remember just 2-3 years ago, you'd always have to like ask your friends to come see you, or you'd have to like ask your neighbors. And now it's more so, oh my God, I heard that there's this new band at so-and-so bar. We need to go check them out. Because when you're so stuck in a day and age where like everything's like first, like access on your phone technology, you kind of got used to it. And then everyone only had that for COVID. So now everyone's like, forget this. I actually want to see things for myself. And so I've noticed that myself, and I've done it myself, just even as a singer. I want to see other bands and see other artists more so, because I'm just sick and tired of being home.
Yeah, I think everyone was. I mean, it was the same way with myself as well. All of a sudden, once live shows were able to come back, there was a point in time where I think I was seeing 3 live shows a week, and this was like a 6 or 7 week stretch, to the point where I didn't want to stop due to the fact that we finally had it back. Hell, there was a show I broke my finger at, and I just said, fuck it, let's just tape this bad boy up and keep going. Maybe not my best idea, but it didn't get any worse, so it worked. I'll put it that way. It worked.
As long as it didn't make it any worse, you're good.
Which finger?
It was my right pinky finger. I broke it right at the beginning of Asking Alexandria's set. Got it, like, went down to like the medics, got it reset, and it's like, okay, let's make sure it's good. They told me to go to the ER. I just taped it up and went back upstairs. So I'm like, you know what? I paid money to see this show. I know the show is going to be energetic. I don't want to miss out on it. So, you know what? I might not jump in the pit, but if the band that's headlining, if they play the one song that I really want them to play, you know, I'm going to jump in the pit and just see what happens. Well, of course, they open up with it, and it's a day to remember, open up with Right Back At Again. So I'm like, okay, I'm not jumping out for this. I got to go. And then all of a sudden, Second Sucks comes on. I'm like, I'm still seeing with a broken finger. I'm like, I can't help this. Then Paranoia comes on. I'm like, fuck this. I'm in this the whole entire way. I'm not giving up. And, well, I look back at it and I think, totally fucking worth it.
Nice. Of course.
But again, it's all the fact of, if this was a couple of years ago, that would have happened. I probably would have walked off just because I'm like, shit, kind of let it ruin my night. But now, after the whole entire COVID thing, no, I'm not letting anything ruin it. Like, I want to experience this. I want to be a part of this. Hell, broken bones and all, fuck that. Not dealing with it. I'm still there.
Right. Yeah. And, that's just it. A lot of people had a chance to reflect and kind of reset, what's very, what's most important to them and what's valuable. And, I think there's going to be, like you said, there's going to be a huge resurgence, and eventually that wave will kind of subside a little bit. In 5-6 years, we may return to the way that it kind of was. But for right now, like you said, it's that opportunity where, especially if a band is in, a state they're available and it can be done, get out there and play and make those fans, make that connection, get in front of people and, just do your craft and what you're doing. Because to me, and I hate to say this, but like the online thing has kind of gotten really stale for me, like I was one of those people who, and I do a lot online, like most people, but right now I'm just like, man, like I want to get back in front of people. I want to play the next show, I want to get out there and see people and have a beer with somebody and just hear a joke, or like shoot pool or like do anything, and it's a good thing. So keep at it.
Yeah.
It is a good thing. And again, when it comes to what you just said, where maybe in 5-6 years, when it comes to live shows, people kind of revert back to that. But right now, if you think about it, it's an incredible opportunity where people want to be out seeing live shows. People want to get out of the house because people were in their house for a year and a half, and you couldn't go and see live shows. So the fact that as a band, you are just basically going out there, playing as many live shows as possible, jumping to different places and learning different things when you go to those places. Like Nicola, what you said when you were in Tennessee, where you couldn't really sing on stage or to sing in front of the stage and had to just kind of test out the mic, go into the crowds, can do some more crowd participation stuff within the crowd. That's just going to end up increasing your confidence in doing something like that, but also increase the ability and the creativity of what you can do with that live set to create something that when people are going to go and see it, create it like it's an event. So people are going to want to come out and see it, create some more of that. Create some more demand for people to want to come and see the dev, because the music is great, but then the show adds on to it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll be honest. I was a little wary though doing it, just because it's one thing to go see a live show. It's another thing for like the singer to go straight up to your face and like be in like breathing like contact. So I remember when I did it, I was like, this is either a really bad idea or a really good idea. Thankfully, it took in like my part and it went to be a good thing. But now I'll be honest with you, it's created me to become a beast, because I literally never stay on stage, to the point where I know I can just walk off and do whatever I want. So I was like literally walk off and like sit with an audience member and sing, and then go to the next person, and my band member's like, where the hell are you? But
except for like Rockville, you can't jump off those stages.
But I did go.
You tried.
I did.
You tried to go down, and then I think you realized very quickly how like far of a drop.
Yeah, it was a very big drop. But in my defense, I did stand on top of the speakers, and I had to go and tell the like bouncer bodyguard people, the one that like stay near the railings, like, hey, I'm gonna step on this. Could you make sure I don't fall? And they're like, well, you're not supposed to step on it. I'm like, that's not what I asked. Right. I'm just asking if you can make sure I don't fall.
It's like, okay, if we want to talk about like the elephant in the room, a girl the day before pissed in some dude's mouth.
Yeah.
So she can stand on PA.
I can stand on PAs. Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
I know it's supposed to be a family friendly show, but there was worse things that happened at Rockville than her standing on PA speakers. But to that point too, also I will say before we forget, we are going on tour in January. And it's going to be really fucking cold. And I hate cold weather. So I will say that like, that is part of what you were saying, we need to get out there, and you kind of like, you got to strike when the iron's hot, I guess is the saying or whatever. And so that's what, that's what we want to do. I mean, yeah, we can stay here and write more music and put out more music. And that's obviously a goal as well. But I feel it's, advantageous for us to just get out there and get in front of people, before that wave kind of rolls back and people just are like, well, things are great again. And, they may not value live music as much. So right now, if we can get out there as much as we can, as we're building and growing as a band, that will stick in people's minds. And, hopefully we gain some fans and some friends and, for a lifetime, so to speak. So
And obviously we would rather just be on tour.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We're pretty fun bands, so.
We feel bad for Barrett because he has to drive a lot. And so
I help with the drive.
Yeah,
he does.
He's got to deal with it. But as long as there's a Buc-ee's nearby, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So people don't have to deal with me if I get to go to Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is the bomb.
Yeah.
Have you tried their fudge?
All good.
It's all good.
Everything goes with the Buc-ee's.
I don't even think there's a Buc-ee's near where I am. So
No, they're only in like the southeast, like Texas, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, stuff like that.
If you're ever down here, it's the best truck stop ever.
Yeah, they have Loves. Loves is kind of similar, but it's not.
Loves is
it
nowhere near
shits on
close to what.
I know. I've been to some like.
Loves is okay. It's
I've
very
seen some
industrial.
cool Loves.
See, Buc-ee's, you can't have truck drivers, so you get a certain like clientele, and there's no showers at Buc-ee's. Whereas Loves and TAs obviously will have showers.
Yeah.
I have to give it to Loves that they share one of our posts.
Yeah, they do.
you're right.
Hey,
Loves.
okay, well, shout out to Loves there, because when it comes to Loves, that's something I'm much more familiar with than Buc-ee's. You know, being up here right now, it's cold outside.
Yeah. So
Loves give us money, Loves.
Oh,
just
so,
make. I'll say just make Loves be like the classic gif from what is it, or it's that classic meme from Futurama with Fry going, "Shut up and take my money." Take their money. Make them say, "Shut up and take my money." You guys got this.
Yeah.
But then, like, a couple of things. Let's say a couple of things to add on to that. Strike while the iron's hot. It's a very smart move from not like think about it from an economic standpoint too, where when it comes to anything, when it comes to any kind of product online, when it comes to any idea online, when it comes to everything that's going on with the NFT space right now, a lot of people are trying to be those first movers into that, or those first players into that, because they can learn the most and they get the most exposure right away, so that when more people start coming back into it, they're the ones that have already been there. They're the ones where the name is known, and there's already some sort of like, mindset lock that is living in people rent free. With what you're doing with, make sure you're going out and playing as many shows as possible, especially what you did in 2021, especially earlier on when people were still kind of wary about it, but people really wanted to get out of their house and go see live shows. They're going to remember the dev coming out there. They're going to remember the dev playing live shows. And they're going to remember to that point where you come around again, they're going to be back out there because they remember how much fun they had. Same thing happened with me with the first real show I went back to in 2021, where I had a band, The Podcast, went to go see them live. And now it's like, if I get a chance to go see them live, I'm doing it every time I get a chance to, because hell, nothing says fun like, being arm in arm with people with a beer in your hand, singing a song called "I Was Drunk."
No, actually, that is very true though, because we have like a dude named Sean. Where did we meet Sean? Tennessee, I think. Mm-hmm. He came to see us at Rockville, or then like we even met like people at Rockville that came to see us at our last Georgia show. So we've been noticing that like people are just more open and like
they're traveling.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So like a girl in Florida that we met actually lived in Georgia. She came to see us in Georgia. And she, I think, was like an hour away. Or like Sean, we met him when we went on tour, and then he came to Rockville. So then we got to meet him again. So we started noticing like a lot of familiar faces, and not just locals, but just people in general. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Sure. And talking about the NFT, we're looking into that.
We got something on the horizon.
Yeah, we got something on the horizon, because we're all into the crypto space. So like, when Avenged Sevenfold came out with their what they're doing, and then there's another program called ModaDAO that's going to be released soon. Like, it's a very exciting time, especially for bands to kind of take control of that decentralized space and just utilize, the meta universe. And I hate to use it like, because it's very much like the Matrix in an essence, but like that's the way the world is kind of heading in some aspects. So, you're either going to get left behind, or, you kind of get in there and get a foothold of what it is and understand it, and then utilize it. It's the same principle and concept when, the MySpace, Facebook bands started coming out. There was a lot of bands who were like, "Oh, fuck that," like, I'm going to go do old school, but it's like, it's eventually it's going to be the way, so you got to like put your whatever assumptions aside and just get involved in it and see where it leads you, because I mean, it's just going to happen. It's inevitable. So.
Yeah.
Inevitable.
It is inevitable. However, when that because I just recently had a conversation. I mean, the day we record this podcast, I released a podcast with another band from Florida, Devil's Envy. I'm pretty sure you guys know who they are. They're doing stuff with the NFT space as well. And I told them, like, when you guys start releasing stuff with the NFTs, if on your first round of doing that, let me know so I can pick some of this stuff up and start doing it investment wise, because well, that's kind of what it is at this point. So when you guys start releasing stuff, NFT style, please let me know so that I can, start investing in some of this stuff with the dev as well and, well, get some NFTs under my belt.
Awesome, man. We'll
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you did say one thing about going on tour in January and saying it's going to be cold. So, I mean, now my ears are perked up because I hear cold. I'm thinking that could mean by me. That could be by me. Oh, my God. So, tour January 2022. Where are you guys headed?
Exactly where we're headed. We got
approximate location.
I know where
We have
it's
approximate.
Yeah, it's like
Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, that area.
yeah,
So southeast again.
southeast again. I think South Carolina, North Carolina again, or
Yeah.
maybe.
No, it's Tennessee, Mississippi, and then Louisiana, and then we come home.
Yeah.
And we do 3 dates in Florida. We do
You might be heading
Gainesville,
Alabama and Georgia.
Longwood, Satellite Beach. So
But that's cold for us, man. Anything under 70 for me. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, so
It's
when
cold
you,
for them. I'm a Viking.
like right now, it's freezing here, and I just, I'm layered up.
It's 55 degrees.
It's
Pretty
that's,
cold.
That's cold, man. That's gonna snow.
I think I was the only one walking
it's
in.
gotta
here
get
tonight
below
without a
32
jacket.
to snow, man. Come on. It ain't that cold yet.
So I can expect Chris to, deal with the cold. I'm pretty sure he'd be the one out there. Like if it was, at like a Packer game or a Buffalo Bills game, he'd be the guy shirtless with his chest painted going, yeah! And no camera.
He would be the one who jumps in the polar bear club where they jump in the fucking freezing cold water.
Yeah,
That would be this guy right here.
I have done that before.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
I'll say, well, then in January 1st, 2022, you know what? Come up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Come join me and all my crazy friends that decided to do it when there's like 30 of us decided to do it the day beforehand. And then January 1st rolls around and I usually get like me and like my best friend. That's about it. But we still have fun with it. We go down there. We pretty much like shotgun 3 beers before we run in anyway. And then we're in there for like maybe a full minute because why the hell not? We're already, 3 beers deep. Our minds are already like, let's go. So the energy's just flying at that point.
Hard pass on that one for me. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally, but I never jumped in Lake Erie in the winter, so I'm not that dumb. So
I'm from New York and I get cold if it's under 70, so I have no idea what to say.
Right. And I will say, like, kind of geographically speaking, like where you are and just like the Northeast for us, I think it's a little bit more spring, summertime-y because I think too, driving and dealing with the snow, being Florida people, we're all kind of wary of that. Like we're going to be in Atlanta, I think in like end of January, February. And I'm already starting to think, man, it could possibly snow. And the problem with that is like cities like Nashville and Atlanta, they don't know how to deal with snow. So like they get 1 or 2 days a year and then it's like the whole city shuts down because they don't ice it. They don't have truck. You know what I mean? It's not like they have like an integrated system that like takes care of it. Because I've been in Nashville like when it snowed and it literally is like the apocalypse is happening. Like everyone's like, what the fuck is that coming from the sky? So that's a little nerve wracking. So, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New York, those will probably stay away from in the January, February area. I don't know, unless we have like some industrial size like bus that we all feel like super comfortable being in. But we'll get there. I promise you, we will get up there.
I'll put it this way, totally understandable on that front because like you did say, when southern cities do get snow, is they just don't have the equipment or the resources to handle it because they rarely ever see it. Where up here, I'm in Milwaukee. I mean, the plows being out once a week, having to clear snow off the roads, that's a pretty much a common occurrence every single week between middle of December to middle of March. So it does make a lot of sense where you guys being from Florida and doing a lot of transportation yourselves as well, being a little wary to drive through that and deal with it where you could potentially wait till, spring, summertime where it is warmer. Yes, it's not going to be 30 degrees outside, so you're not going to, freeze your butt off and have a good time. Plus then, play outside, play, a venue that's going to have outdoor space and all of a sudden up here, we're just, going to be drinking and partying. You guys are going to be playing music up on stage and hell, we're just going to have a great time all around. That's basically what the point is.
Oh yeah. Although I will say, like, I've toured through like Milwaukee and Chicago in the summertime. It gets fucking cold up there at night, man. Like you would think that it was still like for me like a fall kind of winter because there was a few nights where it was like 40, 50 degrees and everybody was like I think I was in Madison or something like that. And they were just like, yeah, like this is normal, and I'm like, no, it's August, dude. Like, it's not supposed to be this, like, it's supposed to be hot. Like, what's going on? So again, that's the Florida boy in me. So you got to excuse me. So
Again, totally understandable, but then again, what we'll do is we'll just put you in one of those like big giant parkas. If it's gonna be 50 degrees outside, we'll put you up on stage. You'll be fine.
Right.
A heater on stage, an actual heater on stage.
They're gonna see me in January, but I live in like a snowboarding jacket. I have no shame. I literally look like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because it's like a white, like Shaun White, like snowboarding jacket, and I will fucking live in that thing. I'll have my hood and I just walk around like Ralphie from like Christmas Story, or that one kid who got his tongue stuck. So
Let's say if I were like saw you like walking along, let's say Daytona Beach or something like January, February, it's like 55 degrees outside. You'd be walking along in your big giant, Ralphie Parker parka, and I'd be running the opposite way on the beach, shirtless shorts. That's it, because I'm like, this is warm, man.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So
pretty much how it happened.
I got a nice goose down jacket that I got. I went to Norway when I was in the Marines, and we went February to March, so I needed a cold weather jacket. My grandfather, we went to London Fog Outlet and got it like 75% off. It's like $35 for this $150 jacket. It was great. And I still have that thing. It still fits, and it looks brand new because it hardly ever gets worn. So I got that ready for cold weather. I'm good.
I mean, it sounds like when it comes to cold weather, when, dress wise, you guys are set, ready to roll. Shit, if you guys came up here, maybe give me a chance to get like 2 weeks off my job, just put me in that van and I'll just drive, have some fun with it.
Deal.
We got to get snow tires, right?
I'm pretty sure Barrett will take that.
I don't even know, man. You got to put chains on your tires, or like you got to get a flamethrower or some shit. Who the fuck knows? I have no clue how to deal with snow, man. All I know is don't eat yellow snow, and black snow is dangerous. That's it, bro. That is it.
Black ice.
Oh, black ice.
Yeah.
Right, whatever.
You don't eat black snow or brown snow.
I associate black ice with the dentine gum. Like that's literally my version of like black ice. Florida.
Definitely dentine gum, black ice, and real black ice, totally different things. But when it comes to chains on the tires, especially honestly, you really don't need them with the way the roads are. I mean, pretty much like if it snows, they're gonna plow them, so you don't need them that bad. The actual like tires that have more of the snow grip for them, though, definitely something you want. Flamethrower, though, let me pull out like $3,000 from one of my bank accounts. Let me buy one, and we'll be fine. So that if it does start snowing, Barrett, you can be driving, just strap me to the front of the car, like on the hood, like a dead deer. I'll just have the flamethrower in front, and literally, it'll look like some weird kind of like war machine going down the street. It's like, what the hell is that? All of a sudden, you see me in the front, flames just everywhere.
We just make a harness. We just make a harness out of paracord. We make a harness out of some paracord.
Yeah, that's it.
I've got some. We're good.
That would literally be the most metal fucking thing I've ever seen.
Hell yeah.
That would be so cool.
Be like Simpson. It'd be like GTA, Crazy Taxi, Simpsons Road Rage. You have nothing on us in real life. Let me tell you that right now.
Next music video shoot. We got to put it in
flamethrower.
Future.
I'll say if you do a next music video shoot where you strap someone to the hood of a car and holding a flamethrower as you're driving down, and the person is like literally having the flamethrower go while they're driving down, can you please shoot me a message or give me a call to see if I can make it down there to be the person that does that, because that would be freaking awesome.
Question though, if you're driving down the road shooting a flamethrower, wouldn't the wind blow the flame back at your face?
That's
not if it's powerful enough.
That's a good point, Chris. You do bring up a good point. Physics.
Not if it's powerful enough.
It'll depend on how fast we're going. But if it's going to be really, I'll put it this way, if it's going to be really snowy outside where we have to do that, the likely we're going to be traveling fast enough to overpower the speed of the van's going to be overpowering the power of the flamethrower is going to be very unlikely, because again, there's going to be a lot of snow. You're not going to be going very fast because you're not going to want to slip and fall, even if I'm trying to clear all the snow off in front of us.
Yeah.
True.
Just playing it safe. But yeah, if you guys do a music video that is like that, please let me know, because I do want to, potentially be that person that's going, the whole entire time. And if I burn half my face and become like, Two-Face from Batman, then I can start making weird videos about being Kevin Face and Scary Face.
There you go.
You might end up with no eyebrows, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
It'll just be like a souvenir from the shoot.
Exactly.
Be drawn on. You can actually get them tattooed on too. They do that too.
Yeah.
If I end up with no eyebrows, I'll literally just pull my hat down even further and no one will know the difference.
Exactly.
Right.
So one thing I do really want to get down and, deep into is your Welcome to Rockville story, because when I was looking at the lineup, all of a sudden I'm starting to see more bands that I've had in the podcast and more bands that I know more personally start peering on the lineup. Like I saw Avoid was on there. I saw Ventress got on there. I saw Post Props got on there. I saw the Devs on there. Some of my friends in Came Collapse got on there. So everyone gets a chance to really know the whole entire story about how this whole entire Welcome to Rockville thing happened. How did this whole thing start with you guys getting noticed and getting onto the lineup for Welcome to Rockville?
Well, our management submitted us.
Submitted us to Danny Wimmer Presents Space Zebra Twitch show.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We were all aware of the Twitch show, but I don't think we were aware of like how to sign up for it. Thankfully, we have MBK, so MBK kind of just like stepped in and did it. And I want to say it was like maybe 2 to 3 weeks before. I think it was like the top 8. Was it top 8?
No. So what happened was, so basically I saw on Facebook like that somebody had tagged us and they were like, like congrats to the dev, they're moving on. And so Space Zebra and Danny Wimmer's Twitch page, they had a 4-month competition where they grabbed a bunch of bands that had submitted. And so it was fan voting, and it was, round battles, like 32, 16, whatever, 8. Single elimination. So we got pushed through, and I messaged everybody. It was on a Sunday, and I messaged everybody that night. I'm like, what the fuck is this, guys? Like, what is the battle for the main stage? What is Space Zebra? Like, I had no clue. Like, I'm not big into Twitch. And so, like, if you're not into it, you don't really know. I mean, I know who, like, Josh Balls is and Bobby Shabinsky. I know those guys, from the other things that they had previously done. So I messaged everybody, and then I messaged in the management group chat, and I'm just like, trying to figure this out, trying to be like an informed band member, because I feel like an asshole because like people are tagging my band and I have no idea what it's about. I'm just like, cool, we win. Like, what did we win? And so then we found out about the competition, and MVK had basically submitted a bunch of the bands, and so it was really cool. And we were in August bracket, so there was the 4 brackets. It was like June, July, August, September. So we were in August bracket, and I will say it was the most nerve-wracking fucking thing every week, because the problem is like it's not about like good or bad, because art's always subjective, but it was like, okay, well, you have to get your fans involved and get people on the Twitch stream, and then you'd read the comments and people be talking shit, and then you're like, okay, are people going to vote for us? And I mean, it was a cool idea, and it was really well, like, kind of executed, in my opinion, as far as like them bringing people to check out bands, and they got to listen to bands, and all, you had 4 months of bands that were, unsigned to a degree, I'll quote unquote say that, to a degree unsigned. And there was thousands of people every show. Mm-hmm. So we get to the final 4, and I'll let somebody else tell the rest of it, because we'll get down and dirty with you. We'll give you all the scoop. Yeah. But we get to the final 4, and like the Sunday before, I will tell you this much: I didn't, and this sounds horrible, but because of like my anxiety, I didn't watch any of the battles previously, because I was like, look, if we fucking lose, I don't want to know. You know what I mean? Like, I'll find out the next day, like a hangover. I'll just be like, oh man, that sucks, or I'll read the group chats and everybody will be like, oh, we didn't win, or oh, we won. So it was the Sunday before the Final 4. I actually sat there and watched the voting, and I was like on the edge of my seat. I'm like shaking. I'm like twitching. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm watching the polls because it's a live poll. So they show the video and they show both bands, and then all of a sudden they put up the poll and they go, all right, guys, chat, go vote.
And you can quite literally see like the moment, like, and one band's more
swing.
popular than the other.
It's like counting down from time, and you see the percent go up on each band.
So we're all just like, oh my fucking God, we're texting each other like, oh, we're going to fucking win. We're not going to win.
Yeah.
And we won most of the time in landslides, which was awesome. Thank you, everybody who voted. Obviously, you guys are fucking amazing.
Zero cool.
Yeah. Zero cool. Amazing, dude. Thank you so much.
The Cogs.
Yeah, Cogs Award. You guys supported us.
And then also Super Dave, because he posted a lot on the radio talking about how vote for like your local Orlando band. Yeah. We had a lot of support, and it was very nerve-wracking because when you saw a lot of the bands like throughout the voting process of like the 8 and the 16, I mean, it was 47, like 50, like it was just such close ties. And I remember when we first found out that we were on it, we were all like really confused, but like it was weird to absorb all of it, to know that we're on the competition, we're already in like the top 8. Then B, to see that like we're winning landslide after landslide. Like Chris was like literally our stats guy.
Yeah.
Like, guys,
Well,
we're winning by like
It was out
75%. And we're like, what the fuck is going on here?
It was out of something like 3,000 bands that submitted.
Yes.
And then,
It was a lot of bands.
To get to the final 4 was a huge honor.
And it was really cool because when we found out, it was almost like, I don't know what the saying is, but you know how they say like dynamite in a barrel of fish or something? A lot of the bands that we were competing, like they did a phenomenal job where a lot of the bands that were competing, it didn't matter what band you chose or what band you were listening to at any given time, they were all really good. And so that was kind of what got me more nerve-wracking. It wasn't even the voting process. It was just the sheer fact that every band that we heard, they were all really good bands. And then they were all unsigned.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, whoa, this is a
quote unquote unsigned bands. I'll just put that in there.
Yeah.
Because we all know how that works in the industry.
Yeah. Like we're technically signed to management, but anyways, so it was really interesting because it was just more of like the nerve wrack of how many fans do they have.
Mm-hmm.
There were bands that had 30,000 followers, and then there were bands that like only had 800 followers on Facebook. But it's solely it was solely based on just who voted on that stream. Mm-hmm. So there were people that obviously came, Cogs of War, people that like listened to Super Dave, and people listened to everybody else that voted for us. But then there was a bunch of other people that were just
didn't even know who we were, that just liked us because they heard our music.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we played Rockville, fast forward later on, I bumped into about like 5 or 6 people that they recognized me just because of like my crazy outfits. And they're like, oh my God, I met you or I found you first through, Twitch, through DW Presents. Mm-hmm. But when we found out when we were in the top 8, we were really nervous. And then we won top 8, which was like, I think was it top 8 that was the one competition that we won a landslide?
So top 8, we went against Ventress, which
Yes.
is obviously, a family band and we're friends with them. So we were already like, okay, if we lose, at least we know we lost to like friends of ours that are moving on, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't landslide that one. We won probably by 4 or 5 votes, but then the reality hit, and there was something else going on at the time for us too. We were like working on a mix and like we had a few shows coming up.
Music video shots.
Yeah, we were shooting a music video. That's
we were literally shooting the music video, and the day after the music video, we had to figure out how to do
the live stream. So the week before, we have a music video shoot coming up, and then
a lot.
we win the top 8. And then it was a Sunday night, and I remember sitting there, like I said, and I finally watching, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking awesome. But then I was like, how the fuck are we going to do a live stream when we have to shoot a music video? Right. And, so we're focused artistically on that.
So cue my stress sandwich.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
So cue my stress sandwich. Now I'm the only one, I'm the one that has to try to figure out how to find somebody to look, because everybody in the band was like, I don't know anybody. And, so I had a friend of mine who was using this guy that does live streams, which he had told me probably a week before, and it popped in my mind to ask my buddy Kevin. So I asked Kevin, can you get me that guy's information? He hooks me up with the guy's information. Now here's the thing: we didn't know until Thursday or Friday?
It was like the day before.
It was Friday. It was Thursday or Friday. I was calling this guy to set up him helping us do the live stream all week, and not calling him, but texting him and letting him know, hey, we still haven't got an email yet. So I'm stressing out. It's going to cost us money to do this, that we have to come up with on our own, because unfortunately MBK, they didn't have anybody that could help us either, which really stunk. They offered us people, but it was too expensive. So I found this one guy. He was able to do it. We get set up. Everything gets set up. Everything seems fine from the get-go. We thought we had everything right. We have a friend there that's helping with the sound. This guy's got his computer set up. We figured out a way to get the freaking Ethernet cable run to it, so that
was
that was a nightmare in itself. So that whole Sunday leading up to playing was just stress sandwich.
And we didn't even, we thought we were playing one song, and then like an hour before we go on, we're like, oh, we're playing 3.
Now we have to play 3 songs on top of that.
Basically, long story short, I did not have eczema up until this 2-3 weeks of I'm not even joking you. I literally I went to the doctors, and it's stress related eczema. I literally got stress related eczema because when we won the 8 kind of bands thing, we had to go against our family friends Ventress, and that was probably the first competition that we didn't win landslide. So I don't want to say that we were getting used to the landslides, but we were able to breathe a little bit once we saw that our number was at 65. We knew that we were going to stay around the 65 to 78 range. Ventress was so close. And then within us being adventurous, I think we knew that within the week or so that we were going to do a live stream, but we were under the impression that it was one song. But within that week, we also have to do a 2-day music video shoot, which was the song that we just recently finished writing from our May studio session. Our May studio session from our tour. So we have a brand new song that we just literally finished writing. We're in the middle of mixing and mastering. We just found out when we were in the top 16 that we were in this music competition. While we're logging on, we're realizing that all these bands are phenomenal, but we actually have no idea what the hell is happening. So we're kind of just scrambling to post it on Facebook and Instagram, oh my God, please vote for us. But supposedly we were doing phenomenal to begin with. So now we're what the fuck is really going on? We got past the top 8 and then it was the top 4. So I remember I literally went in the hospital on the Thursday. We did the whole entire music video shoot at this really cool venue called Mannequins in Sanford. And it was really dope. It had a lot of weird stuff. There was a stripper pole and stuff. I'm heavily inebriated on pain meds and everything. The next day we had a massive, I don't want to say specifically what it was, but it was a massive get together at my house. And there was 4 kegs there. So we had to
for the video,
quote unquote, for the video. And so we had a massive get together and there was a lot of filming and everything there. And I can't overuse my voice or overstress myself because me as a singer, I need to sing. And then lo and behold, Sunday, we have to do the live stream. While we were trying to figure out what the hell we were doing music video wise and what we're doing mixing and master wise, Chris is stats guy. John's trying to figure out left and right what the hell we're doing. Me, Barrett, and Ryan were trying to figure out what is our color theme. What are we wearing? It was just so much. I remember Monday, literally just, I woke up, I looked at the roof, I almost wanted to cry, and then I just fell right back asleep because it was just so much within the 4 days. It was a lot, but
right. And then what happens is
oh my God,
everything gets screwed up with the audio
on the live stream.
At the live stream.
Yeah.
Everything gets screwed up with the audio at the live stream after we had tested everything. And needless to say, people were in the comments. They were saying that we stunk. And it was the other band we went against, which was White Collar. And they had actually won the competition. Great guys, good kids.
They had a dope place too.
But their parents have money and their parents paid for them to use the Viper Room in LA to shoot their live stream, which the deck was stacked against us in that one. Unfortunately, hey, but kudos to them. They did a great job. They played the main stage. They were phenomenal. But I mean, so that really we couldn't compete with that day, unfortunately.
We thought all was lost.
Yeah.
And we were kind of depressed about it. And then turns out DWP and Space Zebra are at Aftershock, and they announced that they're going to be opening up a side stage, a campground stage for bands to play. And they put all I guess the top 8 bands or whatever from each bracket,
except us.
To go ahead and vote against each other. It was except us. I thought they put us in there too.
No, we were not in that. So what they did was they were like, well, we're going to put these bands that were in the final 4s of each month, and we were one of the bands from the final 4s, and we didn't get put in it. So they put on it to play because they did that Wednesday. They had the camping ground stage show with 6 bands. And then they did 8 bands the next. Well, 8 bands Thursday, 8 bands Friday, 8 bands Saturday, and then 4 bands on Sunday. So out of that, they got a bunch of bands that they grandfathered in, and then they set up a whole nother competition.
Yeah.
Is everybody keeping up with this?
Yeah.
So we lose.
This is how we.
So now there's a whole other competition that we have to go in and do voting all over again. So the stress sandwich starts. It's like it's like one of those party hoagies, except it's a 3,000-foot long party hoagie. It's coming at you down a conveyor belt, and if you don't eat it, you're gonna die.
But long story short, after they grandfathered in the band, started the second competition, we got far enough in it to where we did get selected to play Rockville. So we were finally, the stress was over as far as whether we're going to play or not. And now we just had to deal with the stress of what are we going to do for the show?
Yep.
Yeah. But no, we thank with the whole team, Twitch for the Twitch stage and everything, because I mean, it's like they decided, you know what, we're going to put all the bands on it, that were there. Was the top, was it 16 bands?
I think so.
Yeah, the last 6. So
and it's
that was great. So
it's one of those things where
34 bands total played on that stage.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we really meant it when we said a lot of the bands that were on that competition were really good. Yeah. So I think they just kind of had the opportunity to say, screw it, might as well have a stage. So we have, and I think I mentioned it when we were playing at Rockville, you know, because of DW Presents and because of, you know, Space Saber and whatnot. Not only do you get to see national acts, you get to see regional acts, and you get to see locals too. So maybe they're not like locally based in Florida, but they're also smaller bands from like all different states literally playing at Rockville, which I don't think happens. I mean, and honestly doesn't happen often when it comes to any festival in general. So it was it was a very interesting, but very cool opportunity and situation. And one thing I can say is that regardless of who rented out what venue or who put in what, it just really goes to show that with talent and with perseverance, you can honestly achieve anything. Yeah. Because if we probably didn't go through all of that stress from the 16 bracket, 8 bracket, 4 bracket, then back to another bracket unknowingly, I don't think we would have been as prepared as we would have been for Rockville. Because I remember just standing on this massive stage and we didn't even get to use our own like backlining stuff. So it was just all a brand new experience. But when you are a band, you don't always get to be in your own comfort zone because you really are just like an artist or you're a product of what the fans want. So we were honestly able to have an experience where we get to learn from it. We were able to meet so many new people and so many new fans.
Made us grow.
Yeah. And it honestly made us grow to the point where that was the first show that I didn't have anxiety to go on stage.
When that was our biggest crowd yet.
And it was our biggest crowd yet because you got to like learn so much through the whole entire experience. And I'm sure anyone can go and nitpick like little things here and there and what they wanted better. But to bring that many bands together that are not signed, to literally have such a dope stage on Rockville and to have so many cool acts that maybe these people would have never heard of. And then to learn how to honestly roll with the punches, because that's what you really honestly need to do as a band. I literally have I have no quorums with it. Like, I just think it was an overall amazing experience.
Oh, it was a blast. We had a fun time.
It was worth it. It was wild. I still have eczema and I can come up and show you. But it was definitely an opportunity that, like, if we could do it again, we would, because you just learn.
I don't think I would go through the stress of being, battling again. I was kind of over it, because what, like they were mentioning, some bands kind of had already been, put through the stage and put on the stage, and then they saved a few bands to do another battle, which I get it for ratings. Like, I totally understand that. But here, I'm sitting here going, I don't even want to fucking do this anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, fuck this shit. Like, because who wants to lose twice? Like some of these bands are, and we know the bands like Ventress and Tragic. Some of our friends are like going to play Rockville, and here we are putting up for another battle. And I'm just like, these motherfuckers, we fucking lose again. But all's well that ends well. It's the hindsight 2020. But no, it was cool. It was a great experience. And at the end of the day, win, lose, or draw, it's about exposure. Like as a band and as an artist, like your main goal and principle obviously is to create stuff that like comes from within inside you and stuff that you are proud of. But the second, aspiration has to be to get yourself out there to as many people as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. And to put that on our, resume and to be on that stage and to have that.
And we got to drive on Daytona International.
Yes! That was honestly like, and I'm not a NASCAR guy, but that was fucking.
They escorted us in. We got to drive around the outside of the track, which is freaking awesome.
I don't think any of us watched NASCAR, but we were going like 15 miles an hour in a big white touring van going on the track, on the track.
I had seen a couple of those videos as well from people on the track at that Daytona.
Yeah, it was very intimidating. And the thing is that, like Welcome to Rockville, obviously it's the last DWP festival for the year, but with over 160,000 plus, and that's a 4-day total, but like even the day we were there,
40,000.
Yeah, there was 40,000 or more the day we were there. And think about like the largest festival I've ever played is 10,000 plus. And, but I've been to like Lollapaloozas and Warped Tours and stuff. So I've seen, bigger scale like events, but that was the biggest scaled event I've ever seen. And kudos to Danny Wimmer Presents crew and Space Zebra, those guys. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal because the bathrooms were clean, the facilities were great. Yeah, everything was so well staffed and organized, and like
the VIP section was actually really fun.
Yeah,
too.
it was fantastic because how many times have we been to like festivals and it's kind of like it seems a little unorganized, it's dirt, to an extent because it's outside, it's dirty. But I will say, man, like whether you're a fan or you're an artist, it's probably one of the best, facilities and festivals that you can, be a part of. Any Danny Wimmer, festivals. So,
Which normally I'm pretty sure Rockville doesn't even host in like the whole NASCAR area.
no, that's
This
what
was
it is,
the first year they're doing it again.
Yeah.
They used to do it in Tampa.
And I think it was really cool because
There was some jacks.
it-
Or Jackson.
Yeah.
you don't think it's
Never
as
mind.
big as it is until you like go inside of it and then you realize how large the stadium was. Because I was even thinking like, how are you going to fit that many people in just like a NASCAR stadium? I think of like a circle where cars like drive around, and I was thinking maybe like, I don't know, 5-6 acres of like land.
It's a 2.5 mile track.
And then you go in and you're like, whoa. And it was crazy to watch Metallica and to watch what was it?
Skinner.
Skinner? No, it was Mudvayne.
Mudvayne.
And you could see like all the risers of like where normal people would actually like be cheering on NASCAR, but now we're actually like on the floor itself, and there's just like pyrotechnics and everything. It was a very surreal moment.
Fun random fact about NASCAR: all the seats in the stadium risers are painted different colors, so that when the cameras pan by it, it looks like multiple people are sitting there.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm honestly well aware of that because I have been to Daytona before. I was there to race in, I think, 2019 for the 500. So when you're talking about size, like, I definitely know. And I'm starting to get feedback from you guys, like, in terms of, like, whenever I'm talking, I'm starting to get that feedback again.
Uh-oh.
We'll get to the technical difficulties.
Please hold for technical difficulties.
Give us a mic check real quick.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, it's still happening.
Still happening.
John, just turn it off of those and leave those on. Try it again.
Alrighty, we're trying this again, and we'll see if this works. And it looks like it is. So, woo!
Perfect.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're a NASCAR fan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that from the last interview. I thought you were, yeah.
Yeah, I was at the race in 2019. So, like, when you're talking about just like the size of it, because I was at Daytona 500 in 2019. I was at the Indy 500 this past year for 2021. So, like, I've seen it. I know what it's like, and it's nuts just to see what it all entails.
Yeah.
I have, I'm not really a fan, but I mean, I have to give it to, like, I went to the Daytona a long time ago and did like the tour, and it told you all about like all the drivers, what they go through. And I mean, you got to be an athlete to do that. I mean, you really do. I mean, I got to give it to them. So.
Yeah, I mean, for sitting on your ass for 3.5 hours, 5 hours or whatever to drive, it takes a toll on the body because the G-forces, the bumping the track and all that stuff, and you have to sit there and grip that wheel, man. So that takes a lot of strength and stamina to do that stuff, especially in the temperatures. That's the interesting thing about Rockville this year, is that it was in November. Now,
Yeah, nice.
Such a good weather.
Rockville next year, however, is going to be in May, which is going to be brutal. Bring your sunscreen.
No, the weather was phenomenal up until like nighttime. I wish I brought a jacket and I wasn't in like a sleeveless miniature skirt, but no, it was phenomenal weather.
Yeah, it's the
Honestly,
best weather.
I think like after this, what they do in 2022, when they see what it's like, especially around May, when it's like versus November, it's like, yeah, November, you're gonna be the last festival there. Why don't you take that last festival thing, have it be the last thing that people want to go to at the end of the year? And then the weather, you're not gonna be overheat, you're not gonna be sweating, and at the end of it, you might just need a jacket, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like that I always wondered, because most of like the festivals happen in that spring, but they're mostly above, kind of like the Florida line. And it's easier to deal with like if Rocklahoma or any of those, in the springtime. But it's like the Warped Tour thing. Like a lot of bands that once they would go through like the Florida swing of the tour or like the Southeast, they would just drop off and just be like, well, we'll catch back up with New York. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to deal with Florida in the summertime. And so maybe they will kind of move it, because I've always thought like a festival in Florida around October, November, December is like perfect for like rock and metal or just anything. I mean,
Even January.
Yeah, EDC happens here, and obviously that's electronic, but that's always in November.
Same week. It was the same weekend as Rockville.
And it was the same weekend as Rockville, but like it's perfect timing for Florida, because playing in Florida at like outside is not fun at all. I mean, just from like
It's dangerous.
an instrument standpoint, the humidity alone kills your strings in like 5 minutes. Like you play for like 2 seconds and like your strings are dead. So it's just like, yeah, you don't want to do that. But
Yeah, if we can do somewhere it's like, in the southern part of the United States, let's leave the festivals for, the winter months, the colder months, and then when it gets really hot, send them up my way, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
But out of that whole entire Rockville story, I think what Nicholas said was the most important thing, and really what it came to was you can have all the talent in the world, but it's like you have to have that perseverance to really go through it and deal with all the stress of something like this to come up with it, because through that perseverance, you guys were able to play Rockville. You guys are able to have this, influence to many different people with many support from people in the local Orlando scene, the Cogs of War. Shout out to them as well, because I like those guys. They're fun as hell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gaining the support, you're gaining the notoriety, you're gaining all of this for yourself, and it makes the band so much better. But it's all because of perseverance. There's a lot of things that happen within that like time frame that people would have just dropped off because like any other people or any other band members, is because I say any other band, because with all that stress, with all those setbacks, it's very easy to just be like, nah, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this. But through the perseverance and dealing with all that stress, all the stress sandwich, even the eczema as well, look at what came out of it. Like, look at what came of it, and look at the momentum that you guys in the dev have going forward into 2022. You guys played the biggest show of your lives at Welcome to Rockville. And like you said, Nicola, it was the first one you had that you didn't have anxiety for, and it was the biggest one you've ever played.
It's crazy because I feel like you create anxiety in order to make sure, like, to check yourself so you know that you're going to perform the best that you can. But when we were going through the whole entire competition process and everything, and all the ups and downs and figuring it all out, you start focusing on like every little aspect. So when you're a smaller band, you normally have like one task at hand, and then when that task is done, you pick up the next and the next. And so this was definitely like an experience for us where we had a music video, we had a competition, we had to figure out exactly what we were doing. Where we didn't know what our own gear, what we were even going to bring. So when we had multiple tasks, we really had to start communicating better with each other, even in group chat and at practices. So by time we got on stage and, we figured out who's coming with us, what are we wearing, what are we doing, what's our show, our set stage and everything, I actually didn't have any anxiety, just because I felt like I went through it all getting to that moment. That when I was at that moment, I remember literally I was sitting behind the speakers, and I think it was Chris, where Chris was like, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know, like why, but like I don't know." And then Ryan,
you looked at me, you're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "This is nervous I've ever been in my life."
I know. And then Ryan's like, "You're just dead inside. You're just dead inside, Nikolai." And I'm like, "I guess like maybe that's it, because I'm not nervous." But then the moment the live music, started playing and we had like a little bit of an intro, it all just made sense. And half of the things that I even practiced at the practices before, I just kind of threw out the window, because I didn't have to no longer like practice what I needed to say or what I needed to do. I was just able to pick up the energy from the audience. And that was a really cool moment, because normally I would be nervous and I would have to remember to say this band, and this band, and thank that promoter, and then, have a good night. But this time around, I was able to just like tell people that were walking from, Black Veil Bride, was it Black Veil Bride, or Falling in Reverse, or people that were about to go watch this band, say, "Hey, come check out our stage." And I was actually able to connect with the audience, even though there was a barricade of like 7 feet before the stage. It felt more personal. And I think honestly, it was just because of all the ups and downs. We prepared so much for it that by the time the moment came, it was like, okay, well, this makes sense now. Now it all makes sense.
Speaking of the barricade, some of the security guards became fans too.
Yeah.
Messaging us later. Yeah.
I was leaving and the security guards were like, "Yo, I also was wearing like a little rhinestone skirt and like thigh-high boots and crazy long hair. So I don't think
you weren't wearing a black t-shirt with black pants like.
Yeah. I looked so ridiculous amongst the whole entire crowd that there was no way you weren't going to recognize me, because I was just covered in sequins. But some of the security guards, after they didn't hate me for stepping on their PAs and monitors, they got like really close to us. And there was a moment where I actually got to be able to jump right off the stage and just start like hugging fans and like taking pictures with them at the barricades, to the point where this guy like literally took his son and like pushed the son over the barricade to take a picture with me. And the son like low key copped the feel, like he grabbed me like right on the hip and like posed. I think the kid was only like 9 years old. And I'm like, whoa.
His dad's shoulders the whole time.
He was on his dad's shoulder the whole time. So like I ran to backstage, grabbed a pair of sunglasses, threw it at him, and then when the dad realized that like I saw them,
He fell
Yeah,
over.
he
no, I didn't do that. That didn't happen.
We're getting sued for child abuse.
No.
But you know, I
It
mean,
was
look,
cool.
the reality is like from a musician standpoint, I've always found it's easier to play to more people and
Yep.
like massive amounts of people than it is to play in front of 5, you know?
Yes.
So and obviously you feed off energy and you know, you just kind of you get up there and when the setting is right, like I mean, like you're playing on a good stage, you've got good equipment, you've got monitors, like you feel like this is home. You know, it's easy for a musician and an artist to get up there and perform, as opposed to like, you know, you're in some club where you don't know if you're going to get electrocuted. There's like bar staff and 2 people staring at you, you know, like those situations become more intimidating almost than when, you know, for me, at least when I, you know, get to Rockville, there's a great stage. You've got a stage manager, you've got a sound guy, you've got a few techs. You know,
they're there. It's your
right.
call,
Everybody's
yeah.
ready for you. You know, you are actually able to like forget about, do I need to load? You know, you're forgetting about all the other kind of stuff that goes with being a musician. You're just able to get up there and play and perform. And,
Yeah.
you know, having that ability is why, you know, it's just, that's what makes it all worth it, you know? So, you know, obviously that's our goal, is to get more of those tours and shows and festivals, you know, under our belts and to get on more of them. So, you know, and I'm sure we will, but
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where, you know, and the pictures reflect, you know, too, like if you see some of like the photographers that took some sets of ours, like all of our faces are just like, we're having the best time of our lives. You know what I mean? You can see it. And we played great. And then, you know, you get off and you're like, all right, it's beer time, you know? And
Yeah.
we walked around the grounds together and just got to hang and watch a few bands like she was saying. So, I mean, it was just, it's a good experience. You know, festivals can be, you know, obviously intimidating and they can be a lot of hard work, but it's all worth it at the end, you know.
And we were riding the high from
For
playing.
sure.
We were riding the high from playing all night. I mean, it was just nonstop. I mean, we also had a lot of
I felt
alcohol,
drunk.
but
I was
Right
But it was
after I got
great.
off stage, and I didn't even drink anything
Yeah.
up until later. I was like, "Whoa, why do I feel high out?" So
I was exhausted after we played because I'd been there like all weekend.
yes,
Seeing breaking bands and stuff like that. I wanted
Yeah,
to get
and
them
we
all
told
knocked
them,
off
like,
my
dude,
bucket list.
Just like how you broke your finger, we're like, Chris, do not go in the fucking pit on Friday for Lamb of God and break your arm, dude, or
Yeah.
foot. Like, come on, we gotta
We
play
need
on
you.
Sunday.
It's like, fuck it, I'll play
Yeah.
with it
Out
broken.
of
you know?
all the shit that's been going on, you know, we lose, we come back, we have to go. We're like, this will be the one thing that'll happen. It'll just like ruin it all, you know. Like, Chris is in the pit, like swinging around, just breaks his arm, you know. So,
I'm not gonna lie though. Within the whole entire like few weeks, I think the music video turned out really good. I think the mix for this upcoming single is amazing, and then like this whole entire Rockville performance, we didn't have to worry about being an act. More so, we were able to just really live it. Because when you have to worry about like loading in your gear, taking it off, you have to get yourself in a mindset to like be the dev. This time around, we just like got on stage and we're like, "What's up, bitches? We are the dev." Like it was just a really cool moment.
yeah, it was definitely a rock and roll moment. You know,
Yeah.
everybody treated us, you know, well, with respect.
I had
Security,
9-year-olds
everybody,
groping
yeah.
me. It was a moment.
Kids screaming for guitar picks, you know.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. It was a very cool experience. So
I had such a good time, man. It was awesome.
I think there was a guy dressed up as a penis
There
in
was,
our
that
audience.
was Magoo.
Yeah.
The Cogs.
Yeah,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
on
he
the
was
floor,
dressed
yeah.
up like a penis.
He was dressed up like a massive penis. I was like, "This is awesome."
I think that's
I
the thing.
didn't
I
get
was
any
at Blue
bras,
Ridge at
though.
some point, so I did see the penis guy. Unfortunately, I wasn't at Rockville. I wanted to be there, but yeah, money.
Next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Nice.
What was
I
really cool was a few days before Rockville, almost all the VIPs were already sold out, and like tickets were starting to become scarce. So that was awesome because the amount of people that they could fit in and they were getting even tight. I was shocked.
Oh yeah, I'm like, because I remember you guys were up like, you know, like the photos that were taken, the videos that were taken. I remember seeing one of them. I'm just like, I just saw Johnson. He's just like, and I had to make a meme. I'm like, I could not resist. So it's, I mean, I know I posted, I sent it
meme
to
was
Jesse
great.
as well. I'm just like literally making the look when you discover the existence of fairy godparents.
Yeah.
That was good.
I couldn't help myself. It was too perfect. But really, I think the biggest key is just you guys have finally got a taste of what it's like to just fully be able to just be yourselves at a show and not have to worry about all the extra things because you prepared so well. You had a lot of people that had your back and the energy was just going to be there where you could feed off of it. So you guys put on probably what might be the best performance that Dev ever put on up to this point. And I say up to this point because you might have a taste for that kind of style now where it's like, okay, taste for the bigger stuff, the taste for, the festival stuff,
Hell
where
yeah.
we can go in, we can just be ourselves and just not have to worry about any of the extra stuff, prepare for it, we're good to go, to the point where all of a sudden you're going to be going up on stage and people are going to be going absolutely nuts, and, instead of crowds of like 50 or 100, crowds of like 1,000 to 2,000.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's always the goal, but at the end of the day too, it was like, we were perfectly happy. The next week, we literally went to Savannah to play one of our, a venue that we had played in the spring, and it's, the Wormhole.
It was our first stop on tour.
Those guys are great. The venue's great. The city's great. And so, it was obviously a huge dichotomy, from going from there to there. But at the same time, it's the same concept. You get on a stage, you perform. So whether it's the smaller stages, the bigger stages, so we're not, I'll never lose sight of like enjoying those, shows and performances as well. And what we're doing in January too is kind of, it's going to be, smaller venues in the Southeast, but again, it's building, rapport, it's building a fan base and getting out there. So it's, you love to do it, and that's what you do. You go out there and play, regardless. So I don't want to play in a sandbox, or something like weird, but if someone said, hey, you got to play, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go do it, because the opportunities, it could be gone tomorrow, you never know. So it's like, you have to be thankful for every chance you get to play music that, you enjoy and love. So.
Well, just because you said that, Ryan, one thing I'm going to do is if you guys ever come play in Milwaukee, hopefully you guys do in 2022, I'm going to find out the venue you guys are playing at. I'm going to work with them so that when you guys go up on stage, Ryan, you have to specifically stand in a sandbox.
Cool. Give me like a little kitty litter box. I'll be there.
Let's do female mud wrestling though, and the death.
Can we do?
I guess I'll be like the what's it called, the referee on it.
Yeah.
I'll dress up in like a sexy referee outfit, and for Don't Ya, we'll have the girls like wrestle.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's do it. I'm so down with that.
All right, I need to find a giant pool and some mud, and we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah, no,
nice.
I'm totally down.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Honestly, we're up for almost anything. And actually, going back to Rockville, I think that's another reason why we were so comfortable on stage, because sometimes we're not able to move as much as we want to do, like as much as we want to move. And
this time we had so much room. It's like, what do we do? Almost.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I was walking back and forth, and we didn't get to have our smoke machines, but we got to have our Freedom Sticks. Is that like sticks? Yeah. But like, it was really cool because normally we bring shows to like any venue. So like anywhere you go to see us, there's like a fog machine, there's lights, there's, Barrett trying to eat your soul, and like John's hair whipping, and Chris is like an angry Viking, and Ryan's just like slash on the guitar. He's Freddy Krueger. So like, we're all doing so much that when we got on that stage, it was just like, okay, we could all just do whatever the fuck we want. We all have the space to do it.
It was very freeing.
Yeah. It really was. But we're honestly open to anything.
And if one of those, if open anything is literally having you guys play a show where mud wrestling is involved, I mean, if there's a way I can help make that happen, let me know, because that sounds like something that people will remember for just like the fact of its sheer craziness. But also, I mean, come on, that's just fun as all hell, and it's not as crazy as someone peeing on someone's head on stage.
That's right.
For
Fans only.
We had a really
like
cool show, similar, not quite, but in Soundbar, where it was like a wrestling show, and then we were one of the bands that played it. And I remember that was really interesting because I'm like sitting in the green room, and there's like a bunch of wrestlers. Like, I'm gonna do like a little industry secret. I'm gonna like let one out, but like they had like razor blades and like literally their like wristbands. So like when they're wrestling, quote unquote, they'll purposely cut themselves to like start like letting blood out and everything. And I remember I was asking them, and they're like, well, what's your secret? I'm like, I just put on a lot of body glitter and sing, but I guess same effect,
It's a little less harsh. Yeah.
A little less harsh, but same effect. But we did a show that had wrestling, and that was really cool because it literally was an experience. And we're currently trying to figure out how to get like burlesque and rock and roll back together, because like sex, drug, rock and roll, that's kind of a vibe. So like the whole mud wrestling thing is not too far off for us. We would totally do it. We just need to find two hot chicks willing to mud wrestle on a metal version of Pussycats Don't Ya?
Yeah, I've always had like an aspiration to kind of combine like the burlesque and rock thing, and just maybe have like 2 or 3 bands, and then in between each band you have like a burlesque kind of performance, like a one song, very 3 to 4 minute kind of just entertainment for the audience. And it obviously COVID hit, and it would be nice, and I think you know, especially as an idea, as a touring idea, kind of like how Suicide Girls, they do their burlesque show, but like combining something similar, but with bands, you know, and then being able to have a band perform a set and then do some burlesque and then, you know, kind of back and forth it. So you never know. You never know. Maybe we'll get our wish and be able to do that and kind of bring it to a city near you sometime.
2022?
Yeah. So, and even at the level we're at, I mean, I think we can make it happen and like do well with it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the more that you give people something new and different that they're not necessarily like, they haven't seen before, you know, it's something that's like, wow, like I may not know who the Dev is, but like, it's pretty rad that they're coming to my town with a burlesque troupe and, you know, a rock band and playing with some local bands too. And like throwing down like an evening. And that's like the best way to describe it. Because most people go, oh, well, it's a show. You know, I'm going to go have a few beers, you know, slam with my friends or whatever. But like,
give it an experience.
Right. What if we gave you an evening to where you can have your rock and your metal and you also have a little bit sexy burlesque. And it's like this whole kind of like traveling circus, you know, kind of package that's coming towards you. So there are aspirations, you know, that we would like to kind of get to, and especially being a female fronted band, I think it lends itself a little bit more so. Like if we were just an all male band, it'd be like, oh, it's a bunch of dudes, you know, like bringing girls with them. It's like, yeah, that's cool too, but like,
it's all of a sudden not creepy because I'm here.
Well, it wouldn't be creepy in the first place, but like it just kind of like blends in with that vibe, like that Queen of the Damned vibe, you know. And then
hey, do you want to get naked in front of people on our tour?
Like
but
most,
if I ask, you're totally cool.
Right, most troops would be like,
it comes way better coming from her.
Exactly. So
I think that also comes to a point of just self-awareness as well on that front, because I think it definitely would be more palatable, not only for burlesque troops to jump on that with you, especially with Nicola as the front woman for the band, but also for fans as well, because it kind of makes a little bit more sense on that front.
Right.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
you wouldn't want to see Lamb of God in burlesque. That just kind of doesn't.
I find it would though. That'd be really dope.
I mean, it'd be interesting. I don't know.
Chris would want to see that. I think Randy might hit him in the head with his dreads. You know?
Yeah.
But another thing too that you guys says, you're creating an evening out of it. You're creating an event out of it at the same point as well. You're just creating this whole experience that people aren't going to necessarily get anywhere else. And even though it does kind of have that, you know, like you said, traveling circus feel, I think the biggest aspect is you're bringing in a lot of different interests from a lot of different people that come and see this show. Yeah, you're going to get the people like me who want to just go to a show, throw down a pit, go absolutely ape crazy because that's just what I like to do. And if I break my finger, if I break my nose, if I break my neck, fuck it, I'm still going to stay in. Who gives a shit? But you're going to bring in a lot of other people too that are going to be interested in more of the burlesque style of things. And then those crowds are going to be able to intermingle where the people that are in the heavier stuff like myself might end up getting interested and be like, okay, let's watch this burlesque show. Let's support them, see what's going on. Then the people that are there for the burlesque stuff are going to get into bands like the Dev, whatever bands you bring on tour with you. It just creates this whole entire intermingling of fan bases.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I think even our band in general, we noticed that there's a lot of different people and supporters because you got people that are into metal and they're really into like, you know, Ryan's solos and Chris's double bass drum and everything. So they'll listen to the Dev and like, oh, I could totally like palette this. And then you have people that are maybe not into hard rock as much, but because like I'm a female vocalist and I do clean vocals, they'll listen to the band. So even at our shows right now, there's just a whole like mishmash of like all different kind of people because
this is great.
Yeah. I mean, we have songs that are like borderline metal and then we have songs that are like more just considered like rock, almost classic-y vibe. And so bringing in the burlesque, I think it would just bring more and more people together. And that's pretty much what the band for the most part does.
Got to diversify our portfolio and shit.
Yeah.
I'm saying financial.
Diversify our bonds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know where you're going with that, but again, it makes a lot of sense just because all of a sudden you never know what you might be able to bring in with an idea like that. You start out with it, you never know where it might grow, you never know what fan base you might end up getting into and what cultures you might be integrating the band into as well. So all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're going to be playing shows, again, get 1,000, 2,000 people out there coming from all different walks of life, but everyone intermingles together because there is that connecting factor between something that's going on in the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Man,
I just want a mud wrestling thing to happen now. Like, now that's stuck in my head.
Thank spirit. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe the mud wrestling will happen before the burlesque, probably, because mud wrestlers will probably not want as much money as the we'll get two, like we'll bring Kelly and someone else. Yeah,
Yeah, we've already
We
got,
got it.
Yeah,
We got you.
January, we're gonna have mud wrestling. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, then time for me in January, February to fly down somewhere to the southeast and see a show, because if there's going to be mud wrestling show plus the dev, I mean, there's no way in hell I'm going to want to miss any of that. Plus new music too? Why the hell would I want to miss all of that? Like, come on. I don't want to miss it.
We should be releasing our single.
Yeah, speaking about things that are sexy, we're going to be releasing a new single here soon.
Oh my God. It is such a sexy music video. I physically can't. But yeah, we should be releasing it early next year too. So between ending off this year with like a really big, Rockville, and then we're playing at the Orpheum Theater
Oh yeah, there's that
with
too.
Crossbreed, which is like a really dope band.
We're gonna be sell out.
Yeah, we're gonna be opening up the new year with basically like a new single, and then we're gonna go on tour. So it's so funny because amongst the whole year, you always feel like you're not doing enough. And then at the very end of the year, you kind of start getting a little bit sentimental and you're like, wow, we really did actually do a lot. And we just didn't realize it. But I think we're also really tough critics on ourselves. Yeah. And we just always want to do the most. But I'm excited for 2022 for sure. And I think
we've only been a band for like 2 years.
Yeah, 2.5.
Almost
2.5.
Almost three, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like that right there.
Yeah.
That sentiment alone, like thinking about that.
Wow.
Literally kind of blows your mind, because again, it's like what she said, like you never feel like you're doing enough, and you're always like, man, we should be doing more, like, but at the end of the day, I mean, what we've been able to do in that short period of time is very reassuring that at least we're on the right path. Because like, as an artist and a musician, you get lonely and then you get stuck inside your head. And I don't mean like lonely, like, oh, you don't know people. It's just you'll create doubt, in your mind, and you're like, man, like is do I suck? Is this any good? Like, what am I, what are we doing? Do people like us? Do people hate us? Like, you go through the gamut, and then, you come out the other side and you're like, well, I don't fucking care. I'm just going to do it, because this is what I believe in. So you go through this washing machine full of like sentiment and emotion. And, again, like we were saying, to like go through all that and then come out and just be like, man, like what have we accomplished in 2 years, 2.5 years? Like,
yeah,
it's so rad, and
like our first show was February 24th, 2019.
Yeah.
We were at like Shovelhead, which is like a local bar. And it was a smaller, actually, there was a lot of people that came out because we were also playing with Pisto Blanco, which is the bassist of Alice Cooper, and then the daughter of Alice Cooper is in it. And that show was a really big one. And then by our fifth show, we were playing at House of Blues. Now, a year later, we're doing Rockville. And it is one of those moments where I think when we say it to other people, they look at us like, what the hell is wrong with you? You guys have been out for 2 years. But when you're honestly in the mix of it, the washing machine of sentiment and whatnot, you really do get lost. And you're like, oh my God, like, are we doing enough? But I'm really excited for 2022 because I think we're going to have a really cool start of it all. We're going to have a single and then a tour, because Queen of the Damned, fun fact, was supposed to be like that. We were supposed to release Queen of the Damned and then go on tour, but COVID happened.
So don't forget, we also released Shameless Life this year, and that one got almost 500,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, see, like, look at that. And but we're finally going to actually be able to like live it through, where we're not only going to release a single, but we'll be able to actually travel and push it too.
The year's not done yet. The Crossbreed show is supposed to sell out. That's supposed to be. When is this going to air? Because if so, shameless plug, December 11th, come out to Tampa, Orpheum.
Unfortunately, it'll probably be after the.
Hey, well, the show was great. We had
it was
sold out. Sorry you missed it. But that's on you.
Played for 17,000 million people.
I listen. Another thing that I will say, and this is a goal of ours, is to start to try to release more music in the
for sure.
And I will say, if there is one like thing that we're kind of like hard on ourselves about, is only releasing, like kind of like one song a year for like since we've kind of started. And
we've been out for 2 years. We have 3 songs. That's decent.
Well, right, but a lot of it is because we put a lot of production behind the song and like the video. There's a lot of thoughts and ideas, and
we basically treat each single like an album,
right?
Yeah.
So, and
like an album or a storyline, more so.
So
like
with that, it's really tough to want to release it like every couple of months, because it's like, man, there's so much that goes behind it. So if we can, for 2022, like our New Year's resolution, because this will probably come out around that time, is going to be like releasing more music for everybody, and obviously trying to juggle everything else that we're doing, but release more music.
But
without sacrificing quality.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Because whenever we do like new singles, I think a lot of people always interview us and they ask, like, you know, there's a lot to like digest, but the reason why is because every song that we create, it has a storyline. So then we start off with the song, then we make a storyline, then we have a color theme for it, then we have a music video, then we have the photo shoots. And so there is a lot, but now that we've done 3, and like third time definitely was a charm with it hitting, you know, over 400,000 views, we're starting to get a little bit more used to how the studio works and how like we can really bring everything together more swiftly. So 2022, pray to God that like we get more songs in, maybe like 3.
Well, we have the one coming out at the beginning.
Yeah.
Goals.
And then we only have 2 more.
And then
We have another one.
We
that's
have
already
another one in the
recorded.
works
It needs to
already,
be
yeah.
mixed.
Yes. And I'm recording more.
the start of the second one.
Uh-huh.
Man, I think this might be the best way to kind of like wrap this all up in terms of just because you're taking a look at what you're going into in 2022. You got brand new single coming out at the beginning of 2022, touring off of it finally since, you know, fucking COVID. I'm still going to be like, fuck you, COVID, because of course. But with being able to take a look at back at like that, like washing machine sentiment, retrospective kind of style, you're able to go back and take a look and see how far you've come and just the full on, what's the best way to put it? The perseverance, the drive that you guys have all together as a band to make something like this happen. So when it comes down to it, you really have a lot going on for you. You have a lot of momentum that you've picked up over the past years, even during the pandemic. So going into 2022, you have so much momentum going in there. You just got to keep it rolling, because if you keep this level of momentum rolling, I mean, hell, you could be on one of those bigger stages in Rockville next year. You could be on one of the bigger stages for any Damage Presents Festival next year. You could be headlining your own US run in 2023 at this point. Just the way that things are going, just keep up the momentum, just keep the drive going, and do not relent on it, because you're seeing how it's working for you. Even with times, you know, you might be feeling stressed out, you might feel like you're not doing too much. Keep the drive, keep the passion, keep the persistence. I almost said resistance, that'd been bad. Keep the persistence rolling, because if you keep doing that, you're going to keep rolling. You're going to keep getting as far as you've gotten, I should say, to the past couple of years. You're just going to keep that, you know, level of growth rolling. And honestly, please, 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 for the love of God, keep doing that, because I want to see you guys touring all over the United States. Fuck, I want to see you touring all over the goddamn world at this point.
Thank you.
Oh yeah,
want
so
to.
do we.
God,
Resistance is futile.
Right.
The dev will assimilate you.
we will conquer that castle.
Conquer the castle, yes.
So hopefully, yeah. I mean, hey, we're gonna keep working hard, and that's all we know what to do.
Yeah. Consistency is key.
Yep.
I will say.
Consistency is key. So as we bring this podcast to a close, we're going to close it the very similar way we closed the last time. I want to give you guys a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of the podcast. So my friends in the dev, floor is yours.
First of all, let's say thank you to all the plugs. So that's MBK Music Group, SJC Drums, Collision Drumsticks, Saluda Cymbals, Hayward Drum Co., WB Gear, SIT Strings, Intune Guitar Picks. Who else am I missing?
Space Zebra, guys.
Space Zebra,
You guys are
Danny
amazing.
Limmer
Thank you so
Presents,
much. Yeah.
Hogs of War.
And basically just anyone that voted us.
Anyone who voted for us
Yeah.
or stood behind us, the fans, we love you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being there every step of the way.
Our families who put up with our crap, you know, thank you for
Especially as a drummer, the families who listen to me make noise all the time. Appreciate you.
And then if you are curious of us and you want to like get to know us more or hear our music, just make sure to find us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Deezer, Google Play Music, literally anywhere that you could type in the devs, Apple Music, Spotify
YouTube.
all the way. You can just type in the dev and you can find our singles like Queen of the Dam, Broken Lies, Shameless Life, and then soon to be Hellbent coming soon. So
Yeah. And just be on the lookout for the new music and new shows.
the
So.
sexiest music video you'll ever see. Next year, 2022. Keep your eyes out. I'm not lying, guys, but I'm telling you, there are girls like literally drinking a $3,000 King Louis bottle in like the sexiest like way possible. Like you do not want to miss this.
And if you want to see a sneak clip of it, just go to our link tree on our Instagram and look at the fans only site, and you will get an exclusive.
All the way at the bottom.
All the way at the bottom. You will get an exclusive sneak preview of something incredibly sexy.
Yes,
Fans only.
Yeah.
fans only.
And then you'll hate us forever.
You'll love
You'll
us.
love us forever. You will love us forever because we send this out to you with love. We
Right.
love
Yes.
all of you. Thank you for your support.
with nothing but love and passion. So as we bring this podcast to a close, I'm going to end with 3 very specific things. First things first, you're going to want to follow along with the dev. You're going to want to, make sure you watch that music video because as Nicola just described it, you're not going to want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to find them online everywhere that they just said, but instead of having to search it up yourself, instead of having to take care of that and be like, oh, why can't you just make it easy on us, Kevin? Fuck yeah, I'm gonna make it easy on you. Look at the description of the podcast. You're gonna see something that says find the dev online. Links, labels, and descriptions for everything for you. So you can click the links, follow, subscribe, stream their stuff, buy their stuff, download their stuff, whatever it might be. And yes, the Linktree link will be in there so you can click on the fans only one as well because you definitely want to. So now it is time for number 2, and it is very similar to what I did the last time I had you guys on because when I have you guys on, it's always a fantastic time. I do not want to discount that, and the last time I had you on, my promise was when I see you for the first time, first round's on me. Now, because I've had you on twice, I have not seen you live yet, which I'm planning to do in 2022. It is no longer first round's on me, it is first 2.
Hey,
Awesome,
perfect.
awesome, man. Thank you,
We're
Brandon.
gonna hold you to it.
Please do. So as we bring this podcast to close, my friends at Dev, I cannot end this with a goodbye because, well, I kind of want to have you back on it. Not kind of. I really want to have you back on the podcast again in 2022 to see how this momentum keeps carrying forward because it's just going to keep carrying forward and we're just going to bring it to everybody and show them hey, you do not want to miss out on the Dev. Plus, I got to see play live. I got to make good on my first 2 rounds on me promise. So is it goodbye? Fuck no, it's not a goodbye. This is. See you later.
See you later.
See you later, man.
Have a good holidays.
Have a great holiday.
Well, folks, I have an interview with the band The Dev out of Orlando, Florida. So I want to thank my friends Nicola, Barrett, Ryan, Chris, and John for being on the podcast once again. Whenever I have them on the podcast, I had them on in 2021 at the beginning of 2021, and needless to say, that was fantastic. This took it to a whole nother level. Their momentum is absolutely insane. You are not going to want to miss out on anything when it comes to the Dev. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a look at the links in the description of the podcast. You're going to want to take a look and follow along with them on all their social media platforms. You want to subscribe to their YouTube channel. You're going to want to subscribe to them on any streaming service that you might be preferring right now, whichever one you're signed up for. You're going to want to stream their stuff, download their stuff, be in the know when they release new music, which is coming out in January of 2022 or February, whichever one. Live shows and just seeing how they're going to continue this momentum. You're going to want to catch a live show because where they talked about it, I mean, their live shows are going to be just straight up events. So you're not going to want to miss out on any of it. On top of that, go to their fans only link on that Linktree link. You're going to find a surprise. Now, if you're not following us on the Chord Progression Podcast, please do Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Right now, the title for those is MSOT Rocks on those pages, but they'll be changing straight to the Chord Progression Podcast as of January 1st, 2022. If you're following them now, thank you very much. If you're not following them, please do, because when we change the name, just go straight Chord Progression Podcast. You're going to be following us, so you're not going to miss out on anything podcast related because these podcasts are fun as hell. On top of that, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, YouTube, for the YouTube videos where you get to watch all this stuff. Spotify Podcast, iHeart Radio, and Amazon. If you are subscribed to them, I want to thank you for listening and subscribing to the podcast. It means a lot to me. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe for more. I guess that might be the best way to put it. Also, thank your sponsors, Phoenix Fitness and Cubs Debuts, links and the discount code description of the podcast. Well, I can't wait to continue to, keep up with the Dev, see what they're doing, and bring them back on the podcast in 2022 and be like, guys, what did you all do this year? Because it's going to be nuts. On top of that, I can't wait to see him actually play live because 2022, we're making it happen. Oh, yeah. On that note, that's going to be for me, guys. Thank you for watching to the Chord Progression Podcast, but to MSOTD Rocks, Rock Metal Thrive. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single episode. Big, healthy, and hearty. See ya!